Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
We fall for the good time, there's laughter, there's sunshine, forgetting all of our fears.
Welcome back to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. I'm Barbara Hardt.
And I'm Doug Armitage. And now for this week's news.
To open the podcast, here is O'Sullivan performing her holiday-themed folk song tinged with melancholy and nostalgia, Take Me Home, featuring Declan Kennedy.
This episode is brought to you by Brightwood Music, Very Nice Brewing Company, Good Life Pilates, Hardt's Backhoe, Howling Wind Brewing and Blending, and of course, the Mountaineer newspaper.
We'll all get our fair share of it's going nowhere. We'll all just go home to our moms. Confess all your secrets at 3 in the morning. This season seems so magical.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and this is my interview with local musician Ryan Farris.
Hi, I'm Ryan Farris. I'm a local musician based in Nederland, Colorado. Primarily I play fiddle, Celtic music, but I also play cello. Classically, I play in some local orchestras in Boulder and Fort Collins. And yeah, we're having a concert coming up at a Very Nice Brewery in Nederland on Thursday, December 23rd from 6 to 8.
How long have you been playing music for?
About 20 years now. I started playing cello in 5th grade orchestra here in Nederland, and I've been playing fiddle, mostly self-taught, a few years after that. So fiddle about 18 years, cello about 20 years now.
And what would you say got you into music in the first place?
My mom's mother, my grandmother, she's Irish, and she bought me my first instrument actually, which was Irish penny whistle. My dad started to get interested in music as well, so started off with playing in some local groups here in Netherlands, just with our neighbors and stuff. I started playing cello at school, and then with the Boulder Youth Symphony. That kind of became my full-time thing, honestly, so I went to my undergrad in music at CU Boulder, went on to get my master's degree out in Seattle. I'm back here now, but yeah, I do music mostly full-time.
Would you say you have a specific style when it comes to playing your instruments or playing music in general?
Yeah, so it depends. So I play a lot of Celtic music, mostly on fiddle. I play mostly Irish stuff, some Scottish stuff as well. I've been playing with the group here in Boulder called the Boulder Irish Session, which is it's a group of amateur players, but we play together every week, kind of just traditional Irish stuff. And I also play in a band out in Seattle. I actually just got back from there yesterday. We're doing some recording for a new album. So Celtic stuff, but I also play classical cello as well. So I kind of live in both worlds.
How did those groups form that you just talked about?
So the group in Boulder, the Boulder Irish Session, has been going on for 30 years now, longer than I've been alive. And it's mostly the same original members, but it's open to anyone. It's kind of for people to come and learn traditional tunes and the traditional Irish music going here in Colorado. Before COVID, we were playing in local pubs and places in Boulder, but now we can't do that yet, unfortunately. Then with my band in Seattle, that was formed when I was out there doing my master's degree in 2018. The band's called Cavort. It's a group of people I've been playing with since then, recording our second album now.
And what would you say is your favorite part about being able to perform live?
I guess seeing the audience kind of engage and be a part of it, especially doing kind of Irish and Celtic traditional stuff. You're usually in a more intimate setting, whether it's in a brewery like we're going to be doing for this gig or playing in a pub. It's a fun feeling to kind of welcome everyone in. The audience tends to be very engaged because they're sitting right there enjoying a drink, and it's less stuffy than a traditional classical concert, where it's you're on a stage kind of presenting art to people. It's kind of feels more intimate, and there's more room for improvisation and kind of drawing everyone in a lower stress kind of setting.
Would you say you have a favorite venue in the Peak to Peak area that you love performing at?
Well, I love performing at the Very Nice. We used to have our own session going there every month Like every third Thursday, we would play there. I would play with some other local Netherlands musicians who aren't currently performing because of COVID restrictions, but we would play the Very Nice every month. I love the Very Nice. Great venue in Netherlands. We've also played at the Caribou Room. That's a great venue. Yeah, and then with the group in Boulder, our main venue used to be the License One bar underneath the Hotel Boulderado, which is a really cool kind of venue that's very homey and close-knit, which is not great for COVID, which is why we're not there at the moment, but that's a great venue that I used to perform at every week.
Is there anything else you would like to add about what you love about performances or music in general, or anything else you want to talk about?
I guess I would just like to say that not being able to perform hardly at all during the pandemic was so frustrating for all of us, so it's nice that things are kind of starting to open up again and people are getting more comfortable, and it's happening slowly, but I think people are realizing that music is kind of an important part of everyone's lives. And certainly as a performer, I'm just so eager to be playing again. And I'm really excited about every opportunity that comes up. And I'm really looking forward to this. So I guess that's all I would have to add.
All right. Well, I think those are pretty much my big questions for you. I want to thank you so much for coming on board and joining us for the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And happy holidays. And I hope people can come out to the Very Nice in Netherlands on the 23rd for the concert, 6 to 8 p.m. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on board and joining our podcast. If you want to see him perform live, you can catch him at Very Nice Brewing Company at 20 Lakeview Drive, number 112 in Nederland, Colorado on Thursday, December 23rd, 2021 from 6 to 8 p.m.
And now to the news desk.
Check out this week's full music listing, including where to be and what to see this week across the Peak to Peak region, as well as an action-packed edition full of Nederland and Gilpin school news, events, government, and more. The weekly print and online edition hits stands every Thursday by noon.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and this is my interview with local artist and owner of Mooseworks, Colorado, Greg Marquez.
My name is Greg Marquez. I live just outside of Rollinsville, Colorado. That's about all I got. I'm a very boring person.
Oh, no, you're not. You've got some exciting art coming up, including one commission for the town of Nederland, I believe.
Yes, sir. We're working on it at Wild Bear right now, and as soon as I'm done, they want to hang it up on the side of the Business Connection building in Nederland.
What was the proposal from the town of Nederland for this mural?
Well, I don't feel really comfortable saying too much for them, but they wanted to get a public art program started. They obviously had some stipulations. They wanted to get a local artist to do it. They didn't want any death scenes or flamethrowers were definitely out, so that was good guidance. But for my part, I really wanted something that the kids of the area, from Idaho Springs to Estes Park or whatever, would want to see, would be attracted to, would be intrigued by. I wanted to show the animals, the mammals specifically, although I think we're going to sneak a couple of amphibians in there. But I didn't want to do it real tight and rendered and paint every hair and all that. I wanted it to be big and bold, graphic. I wanted when people came up through the town, through the traffic circle, I want them to see that when they go through, and maybe they'll stop, maybe they'll stop and look at it, and the kids will get their picture taken with it, all that good stuff. I took influence a lot from the Beatles movie Help, or the artist Peter Max. There's also an artist that I really like his work named John Nieto, although I just use them as a jumping off point. Big, bold, strong colors, that kind of thing. I also wanted the animals, the mammals, to be recognizable. So kids come in and they look at it and, oh yeah, that's a moose, that's a fox over there, and things like that. They're moving from light into dark. I don't know if there's a message there. I didn't really intend one. I didn't want to have a flat background, but I wanted to have something that would give contrast to the colors and the shapes of the animals that I drew. The only animal on there that is actually looking at you is going to be the fox, and I don't know why I did that. I just did. Unfortunately, I do a lot of things like that, but some kids have caught on to that when they come by, or I did the local 6th grade class in Nederland. We did a Zoom meeting, and they caught on stuff like that, and they had some great suggestions. They had some terrific comments and questions about it. It was really exciting, and I would love to do that with some either older kids or some other schools in the area. So I'm kind of working on that right now, and I wanted to make some money.
In regards to art in general, you make small wooden toys, am I correct?
I do. I also sculpt wood, and I do make wooden toys. Yes.
How long in general have you been running the business of Mooseworks, doing art in general? How long has it been a passion for you?
Well, art as a thing for me has been since I can remember. I mean, the house that I grew up in Denver, last time I saw it was probably in the 80s or something like that, and there were some drawings that I did on the inside of the closet that had been in my bedroom one time. And I did those when I was like 3 or 4. I was always drawing through high school. My science notebooks had drawings all over the margins and everything like that, and I've always been doing that. And just about as long as that, I've been doing watercolor. We used to get, when we were kids, my grandfather was a printer, worked for a print company in Denver, and he used to get us these end rolls, they called them, I believe, of newsprint, which, they couldn't use it anymore for the next day's run or something, so they just take them off, and instead of throwing them away, he'd bring them home. So we'd get these, they'd seem pretty big to us. I don't know, maybe there's only 30 feet of paper on there, but man, that's a lot of paper to a kid. And that's how I started learning watercolors, which if you've done watercolors, newsprint is not terrific for painting on, but still, it taught me a lot, and I was able to do it. So I've always drawn, I've always painted, I sculpt a lot. I just like making things. And Mooseworks was an extension of that. Mooseworks has been official, I believe, 3 years now. I've always liked making toys. I used to make toys for my nieces and nephews, and then my son, and then kids around and stuff like that. And that was a natural progression, and I had a terrific opportunity to sell my toys at the Netherlands Farmers Market. I've had good success with that, and then I've been doing other craft shows, and I just am finishing shipping the last of the toys for this season, and I really like it. I want to bring a very high quality, well-made, as well as good-looking toy to the market, if you will, to people. I want kids to have nice toys, and I didn't really start with an agenda as such that I was going to do this or this. I just wanted to sell these toys, but I get such great comments at shows. It's kind of fun, and people talk about, oh yeah, my grandpa made us a little wooden train when we were kids, and we still have it, or I've passed it along to my kids. People talking about how great wooden toys are, and for a lot of reasons. So yeah, I guess that's it.
In regards to your art in general, because you talked about how wooden toys are a great generational gift as well, and how people make great comments about those wooden toys. In general, for your art, is there anything that you want people to be able to take away from it or be inspired by in some way?
That's a great question. I sometimes feel a little selfish in that, I guess, in that respect, because it's mainly I just do these paintings and drawings and sculptures for my own satisfaction. But that said, when I do connect with somebody, when somebody says, oh, I know right where that is, or that's South Park, I've been there, south of here, that really is a good feeling. That really is good. And I'm working on some watercolors right now of the area that I live in, specifically more of the town of Rollinsville and maybe some of the buildings that, there's trains that come through there, and the little South Boulder Creek is right there. So I'm working on some different things like that. And that's a tough question. I just went and saw the Whistler and Cassatt show at the Denver Art Museum, and it's really nice to look at how these people were painting, and I guess most of them right around the turn of the century. We have all these styles, Impressionism and Cubism and all these isms, but these people were just painting, and they were trying to capture light on the canvas. I personally feel that watercolor is one of the best ways to capture light on paper. I just enjoy doing it. When there is a connection, that's terrific. The mural probably is a little bit more driven towards that goal, because I do want people to look at it and maybe take pride in the town, or take pride in the wildlife in the area, or just have fun looking at it. Maybe just add a little color. So just kind of brighten things up a little bit. I don't think there's a big message or anything, but hopefully people will connect with that some way. And, it's also, sometimes it's really surprising about how people connect with your work sometimes. And one of the things that people always say about watercolors is that, oh, I tried that when I was in school or something, and watercolors are really difficult and they're impossible and you can't erase, you can't, all these things you can't do. And it's like, generally, I find them a much more forgiving medium than others. And I think it's experience. And I like teaching for that reason, because it allows people to maybe try it again with a little bit of guidance and encouragement, and I do like teaching for that reason.
So you've taught some of your art stuff as well?
I have quite a bit in Denver. Most of it has been kids or younger people. Actually, I had a chance to volunteer in a middle school classroom in Denver. That was my favorite. The kids were so full of angst and self-loathing that it was just dripping off the walls. And, they were doing some good work. I just remember this one young woman that was actually doing some really nice stuff, and she was just getting down on herself so much. And so hopefully I was able to point out that this is really good. So I really like that. And I've taught classes. I did a couple sessions at the Gilpin Library, just before COVID, I guess it would have been that summer before COVID. And I've got really good feedback on that. I've done a drawing class at Wild Bear. I'm actually doing a watercolor class demo. So I just sort of thing where I'll just be sitting there painting and people can come in and watch or try it. Stuff like that is really fun to do, yeah.
Have any other demos coming up in general in the Peak to Peak area?
Specifically, no. I don't know if you realize this, but there's a new gallery called Kaleidoscopes that has opened up in that right above Wild Bear, actually, next to Trace Gringos up there. And the owner and I, Roz, have talked about doing classes and demos, but that's going to be after the first of the year. So stay tuned, and we'll hopefully have something posted on Facebook or things like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing other things. Yes, one thing that I've been working on too. You didn't really ask about this, but it's kind of as an aside here. My wife wrote a very well-received book called Rough Beauty. She lived in Jamestown for 14 years, and she just wrote this beautiful book. And so we've had a couple opportunities to do workshops where, talking about landscape, because her book is a lot about landscape, and she teaches writing classes about landscape and things like that a lot, and very popular. And we've been working on doing something together. Because of COVID, everything just went away. I was supposed to be an artist in residence at the Denver Art Museum for, I think it was 2 weeks or something like that. It was really great, and that just went away. So it's tough. But she and I are looking to do something like that. I think it'd be really fun, where she would talk about writing about landscape, and then I could talk about painting the landscape. So a couple different approaches to the same thing. But we'll keep working on it. Just keep knocking on those doors,
In general, is there anything else you would want to add about upcoming artworks or upcoming workshops or upcoming events in general?
Keep your eyes out for that mural going up. I'm sure they'll announce it. I hope they do. But no, I really don't. I just think that we've covered it pretty well. And unfortunately right now, I've been so preoccupied with getting toys out and making toys right now that I just haven't had time to really do a lot, and painting the mural. So I will have stuff in terms of workshops, classes happening after the first, definitely. And of course that depends on COVID protocols, so we'll see what happens with that.
I think those are all the big questions I have on my end.
Okay, Jamie.
Thank you so much for coming on board.
I don't know what you choose to celebrate or anything, but Merry Christmas and all that good stuff, and happy
holidays to you too.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Greg, for coming on board and joining our podcast. Be sure to keep an eye out for his mural on the side of the Business Connection titled A Good Great Place, and for more workshops of his coming very soon. And be sure to buy Karen Avenen's book wherever books are sold. Rough Beauty, 40 Seasons of Mountain Living.
Are you a local musician or artist? Would you like a feature story in a print edition of The Mountaineer, as well as on our podcast, website, and social media? Interviews are completed in person or by phone with our professional journalists. Interested? Email publisher1977@gmail.com to get on the list for an upcoming edition.
You rely on the Mountaineer print and podcast for the news you need to get through the week. Our podcast is free to consume, but expensive to produce. Our print publication expenses have gone up over 30% in the last year, and an increase is expected again in January of 2022. The funding we raise this month will help us set up for a strong 2022, allowing us to continue producing reporting that informs our listeners on important issues and holds our leaders accountable. This is news Colorado needs, and you can be a part of it. Readers and listeners like you keep us going. Please consider a donation today to invest in journalism that puts community news first. It only takes a few minutes. Click on www.themountaineer.com to access the website. Then click on Donate, or donate through PayPal to publisher1977@gmail.com or by check. Send to The Mountaineer, P.O. Box 99 in Nederland, Colorado 80466. And thank you for supporting journalism that puts the community first.
Brightwood Music in Nederland has the instruments and accessories you need for your holiday shopping. Not sure what your gift should be? Brightwood offers gift certificates as well. Brightwood Music is family-owned and operated and has been a Nederland staple for more than a decade. They are located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, Unit 109 in Nederland, and can be reached at 303-258-8863, or you can find them on Facebook at Brightwood Music.
Do you have a business in the Peak to Peak region? Send us your pitch. We cover every business from Allens Park to Central City, with all of the towns and canyons in between. Email publisher1977@gmail.com to be included in an upcoming edition of our Business Short Takes or submit online to our website at www.themountaineer.com.
On January 1st, the Mountaineer will be starting the Keep It Local campaign, which features small businesses in Gilpin County. If you'd like to be added to the list, please email us at publisher1977@gmail.com.
You talked in circles, I ran in stars. Cardboard people in cutout cars.
And that's all for this week's episode of the Mountaineer Podcast. All editions of the Mountaineer Podcast are available on our website at www.themountaineer.com and click on Podcast.
You can pick up this week's print edition of the Mountaineer in Nederland, Gilpin County, Ward, Jamestown, Gold Hill, Ferncliff, and Allens Park. You can also read and subscribe online. All print subscribers have free access to our website.
And go online to catch up on more local news. I'm Doug Armitage.
And I'm Barbara Hardt. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. To close out the podcast, here is Finn O'Sullivan again, performing her John Lennon Songwriting Contest winning song, When the Power Comes Back On, featuring Declan Kennedy.
If you tell me why you never call, all I do is run.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local peak-to-peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.